Everybody, so we are here today with Mikel Mangold. Just to let you know, for the people that are joining or going to join, it's recorded, so it's going to be on the YouTube channel afterwards. So thank you very much, Mikel, for being here again in our Pulse. I think this is the second time you are in our Pulse. I will let you a quick time to introduce yourself. Just quick reminders: what is PosterLab and what is the Pulse? So the aim of PosterLab is to accelerate innovation. And how do we do this? We have developed a platform that helps, let's say, the large manufacturing organization to map the ecosystem of partners. Who are they? What are their main capabilities? What did we do so far with them? And provide a co-working space for the partners to work together along the innovation in a systematic manner. I will give you the floor, Mikel. So today it's going to be about collaboration ecosystem, venture building, what is cooking. I mean, Mikel knows a lot of things on this topic, so that's why I was asking him to come again in the pulse. Mikel, please go ahead with presenting yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Seb. Yeah, always a pleasure to talk about the latest trends and what's going on in open innovation and overall, collaborations to co-create and innovate. I'm Mikel Mangold, a chemist by training, and after my studies, I went to San Francisco and worked for Bayer Pharmaceutical for the Digital Health Accelerator and Biotech Incubator, and I was managing, an initiative to increase collaborations between the startups and researchers all around the world. For Bayer. And then I fall in love with the topic of ecosystems. I work with experts, published 2 papers. One is actually going to be published this month. And basically in my company now, Nitera, I'm responsible to accelerate the number of alliances and partnerships we do with external stakeholders to innovate faster, de-risk opportunities, and just be more competitive on the market. So that's why I'm a pleasure to talk about venture building and the latest trends today.
Okay, thank you very much. So, I mean, since we talked, I think 2 or 3 months ago, I think you've been working on maybe new topics or making advancements of new topics. Obviously, you have this new position, this new, let's say, goals that you have within your company. So, can you maybe brief us on what is the latest things that are happening in collaboration, innovation, venture building, open innovation in general? What is happening right now?
Yes, I think venture building is not very established yet. It is something I would say that really started with, the rocket internet and these kind of companies in Berlin, and they really shown a lot of successes. But that was really not a corporate, I would say, venture building firm. It was an external one, so they were able to implement a lot of processes and showed a lot of successes. Most of unicorns of Germany come from this, we could say, venture building company. And then companies were starting to be interested. I said, oh wow, we can do that. Innovation labs were showing that they cannot achieve a lot of financial returns, so many of them got closed by corporates. So corporates now, across the board, a lot of different examples from Siemens to Henkel to others are trying to build ventures internally, and they're facing a lot of challenges. Ourselves included. Nitera decided in 2020 to open a division. They put 300 people, Blue Ventures. There was like 20 different ventures running. And then you realize that the board is expecting returns as soon as possible. But, building a company is not easy, especially if you are not an entrepreneur by training. Basically, the companies are forced to find a way to accelerate innovation initiatives. And that's why now also from our perspective, and that's a project that I'm working on right now, is how can we, earlier on in the process of venture building, partner with externals to co-create, right? So the model is not established in the industry. You have corporate accelerators, but that's different because they just invest and they don't really get involved in the product building or the strategy of that startup, just a little bit. So what we are trying to do now is how can we combine the benefit of a well-established process of venture building with external collaboration, and that's a challenge we're on right now. We're trying to find a model that can make it work, and I think many companies are also going to turn towards this new kind of concept.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so thank you very much. I mean, that's very interesting to know, because all of us have seen that right now. There's a lot of people talking about venture building here and there. A lot of players coming on the market. I was recently talking to someone that is also in this space, and I was telling him, for me, it starts to be a bit too much blurred. I don't know. I'm not sure what's all around, but venture building, having a process, jumping on the partners to create a company. That's very interesting. Let's say you just mentioned you are at the beginning of it. So
Yeah.
being on your process and your external collaboration, do you have some kind, I know we cannot go too much into deep, but do you have some kind of ideas how it could work? I mean, do you see some patterns?
Yes, I can share. So right now, basically, in our company, we are doing a 100% internal process, which is starting with the opportunity of the market, finding problems, and then you validate this problem with experts, and you do a lot of interviews, a lot of research, try to find a big market opportunity. As you all know, we are not looking for 5 million businesses, but 100 million. And then you do in the validation mode. Do you test the product, you build an MVP, potential a physical one, and then you try to enter the market, right? And what we learn is that our corporate was not interested to invest in startups when they were very early stage, because we are not ready to help them scale. So that all of the investments from a Series C fund were usually for companies that were already generating a few millions on the market, and then you help them scale globally, right? So that's the investment part. You can call it a partnership in a way, but that model was not really working for very early stage. And what we are trying to do now is to partner with earlier stage startups, but then we also want to be involved in really the foundation of that company and building it, and know a little bit of flavor to where how it's going potentially look like. So we are right now doing interviews with the ecosystem, right, from and investors to funders to serial funders to accelerators and even governments. Like what is a model that will be appealing to you? And we are right now trying to also pitch it slowly to our top management, because we also need to see what's feasible and acceptable from their side. But it will be a founder first approach, which means that it's not something that we're gonna own 90 to 100% of the company. Like we all already know that no one is going to be attracted by this model. So it will be founders first. Depending on what board will approve, there will be maybe half or more that will stay with the founder, and then we act as a provider of services and human resources, and a team that can help them build this company. So because you all know the situation where, especially for the deep tech space, you have incredible experts that are coming from university or from an organization, or as an example, I just met two doctors that they had an idea for changing healthcare, but they don't have financial skills, they don't have UX skills, they don't have product building skills, they don't even have marketing and sales skills. So and that situation is almost for any kind of deep tech company. They start with very technical founders, and so that's where we believe that there is a lot of value for them, where you get the expertise, you get the market problem that they identified, which will take potentially years for us to identify, and then you really help them build that company with this venture building team made of product, commercial, marketing, sales, UX, and even partnership managers. And that's a model we believe will be a win-win situation. But it still has to be tested and see what will work and not.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it very much. It's kind of, I mean, it's kind of new. I like the way you work on it. So there's a lot of scouting upfront. When you are doing all these interviews, I mean, you need to map your ecosystem. Who is part of the ecosystem with whom I can talk to, and have all this information, and then bringing the early companies on board, and then trying to partner with them, taking some shares in the company. Yeah, it's kind of what do you call it? You have in this large company you have corporate ventures, Like when you have dedicated kind of it's more M&A guys usually. It's more the M&A. They are investing into startups, but here you are doing something a bit different.
Exactly. So what I'm saying, right? So we have a CVC fund, $100 million,
Yeah.
and we invest actively in startups, but it's never in a very early stage,
Yeah.
because it's not a fund that is looking for the riskier bet or to do the highest financial return. It's a fund that is looking for transformation and integration. So we are looking for technologies we can potentially leverage part of our portfolio later on. So we're investing in, I would say, safe startups that are already on the market. But
Okay.
that model will be the more innovative one where we want to build new products and services, potentially generate revenues, and also just be way more efficient with our resources, which is human and services. Right now, as I mentioned, these are all a failure because you don't understand the problem very well because you're coming from another industry or it's just not your expertise.
Mhm.
And then you have incredible people that can execute processes, but
Mhm.
market problems still stay with the experts, and that's what we identified as a model,
Mhm.
as an opportunity, right, to evolve.
Yeah. Okay. I've been talking to a company, Early Bird, if I'm not mistaken, in Berlin.
Yeah.
They have this UniX fund,
Hmm.
and they are also trying to identify, early startups on the academic side. And we have interesting discussion about it. And my take on this is, it's still my experience. It's super hard to identify ideas or projects or prototypes that are being done on the academic side, somewhere inside a research group. It's super. Even the TTOs didn't find the model to know which researcher is working on what and what can be put to the market. How are you going to crack this?
Yeah. So we won't do it 100% alone. We plan to work with a third-party organization to help us identify partners. And there maybe it's an accelerator, maybe it's going to be a 100% scouting company, maybe it's someone that is going to run a program and even be operational. So but we're evaluating the one where we can potentially do it ourselves, but it may also just start as a pilot with an organization and a few startups. So it's very hard to say how are we going to identify that. I think it's going to be a lot of discussion now with what they can offer, how can we benefit, and do we think it's worth
Okay.
doing with someone. Yeah. But as of now, at the moment, I can tell you, so we map our ecosystem. I mean, that's one of my activities, and identify how the play is working in such and such space. I'm connecting with a lot of investors, connecting with the portfolio companies, and right now we just track them on our ecosystem, and we may leverage them later on. But so kind of we are prepared a little bit, but there's definitely not enough data to make sure that once we launch an initiative, the contact are ready. And I think what's really important is, as we are not Google, Microsoft, or Siemens, and that's the case for a lot of corporates, how are you going to attract partners to work with you? And so there will be a lot of branding, marketing, and I think that's why we need a third party of trust that is famous, because we all know that people trust what they know, and that can then build that bridge between us and externals.
Okay. Clear. Thank you, Michael. We are going towards the end of this week pulse. Do you have any recommendation, any advice, anything you would like to share with the audience?
Well, I think what I learned is that the old partnership economy right now is really on the rise. I mean, it's just been another McKinsey article that was posted. I've just also saw that there was a report about open innovation. I think it's called Open Innovation Report 2023, Surviving the Storm, was just published in March. And what is for me very astonished is that in this article, there was 27% the German corporates, they have no interest to collaborate with startups, and it's like 97% for the countries. And so what I realized is that we are in a rise of interest, but it's still really a big mindset problem, especially on the German market, to make the shift. So right now, right, we want to build internet. Okay, it doesn't work. So I think a lot of corporates will go through failure and failure until they will start to really be in a crisis mode and start to open up. You know, some organizations are leading the way, like, you know, American ones usually. But I think it's an exciting time. The platform economy is on the rise, as well as these all new models, and there will be a lot of change in the next 2 to 3 years. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you much, Michael. I just see that we are lucky enough to have Mikel in the audience. Mikel, do you want to share some thoughts about what you hear today from Michael?
Actually, no, it was very interesting to follow. Thank you so much. But very insightful.
Cool. All right, very good. Perfect. So thank you much again, Michael, and all the best. Keep us informed. I mean, I know that if we want to kind of follow you and learn from you, you are super active on LinkedIn. You have your own blog. Is there any other way that we can keep track of what you do, Michael?
Well, yes, I have a newsletter as well. So feel free to go on the website and find out about the newsletter. I'm posting monthly regular updates about the world of partnership, alliances, and ecosystem.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm just stopping the recording. Give me 1 moment. Stop recording.